Yes, I bought $500 worth of period panties so that you don't have to. That sounds so crazy, but it's the truth. I've been on a sustainable low tox period journey for several years now, ever since discovering that disposables were not for me. There are several health concerns like heavy metal contamination in tampons, pesticides in the cotton, and also volatile organic compounds like toluene and even endocrine disrupting phthalates, because that's not to be unexpected because there is plastic in it, right? So anyways, I've been on a sustainable period journey for a while just because I wanted to get away from all the disposables. So I started with the conventional tampons and pads. Then I switched over to menstrual cups with disposables. And now I am totally on sustainable, reusable period products, and it has been life-changing for me. What I've noticed so far is that my cycles are actually on the nose exactly 28 days, whereas before it was kind of 29, maybe 30 days at some points. But now it is so consistent, so predictable, and it's absolutely incredible. I have zero pain, zero discomfort, and this is the way that I will continue to menstruate for the rest of my years. So how do period panties work? Basically, they are meant to replace your disposables by providing some sort of absorbent layer in the underwear so that you basically wear the underwear, you bleed into the underwear, and then you wash them and you let them dry and reuse them again. And so this entirely replaces all the disposables and even some of the menstrual cups and things like that and discs. You won't have to use those anymore with period panties, which is so awesome. So just let me tell you a little bit about the, I guess, anatomy of a period panty. So here's actually one that I have that I'll tell you about in a little bit. So this is what it looks like. The outer part is considered the outer, and then the inner part is considered the gusset. So the gusset is the part that is absorbing the blood and is touching your private parts. And in case you didn't know, the private area is so absorptive to chemicals. We need to be really careful because these basically bypass liver detoxification. So you don't want to be putting toxic chemicals in your private area because that's going to affect your reproductive organs and the rest of your body, depending on how much is getting into your blood. So there was a huge $5 million lawsuit against, or a settlement actually, against Thinx underwear, which is one of the main top name brand of period underwear. And they were found to have high levels of PFAS in the crotch. PFAS are fluorinated Teflon-like chemicals that are used to create a waterproof layer. So that's the part that was holding the blood inside the panties, preventing it from leaking onto your legs, kind of like a diaper. But with diapers, of course, there's no PFAS in them, but in the period panties, there was PFAS. Nobody knows the long-term health effects, but of course, we shouldn't be putting endocrine disrupting carcinogenic compounds in our vaginal area. So huge red flag. If you have Thinx, look into the lawsuit. All right, so how did I choose the period panties that I bought? Well, Mamavation has an incredible blog, and she basically tests consumer products and finds out which ones are contaminated. She's on a huge campaign against PFAS, which rightfully so is really important for us to avoid. Like I said, you can avoid PFAS through food, air, water, soil. I mean, they're everywhere. They don't degrade. So we want to stop buying stuff that has PFAS in it, not only for our health now, but also for environmental health, because that stuff doesn't break down. It's in our food. We're going to eat it again, breathe it in. So just avoid PFAS, non-stick stuff as much as possible, waterproof, so on and so forth. So I chose the top 3 brands that I tested based on the materials. And what I was looking for is the least amount of synthetic materials. So materials like polyester, nylon, and things like that, those are essentially plastic. And so they need plasticizer chemicals to be able to make them into fabrics and make them soft. So what happens is we get exposed to those. Things like BPA, definitely found in polyester. So something to avoid. Do not use polyester underwear or bras. I recommend going organic cotton as much as possible. And one of my favorite brands is Packed, which I'll throw the link in the description. I wear exclusively Packed underwear when I'm not using my period underwear. All right, so the brands that I chose, number 1 is Lilova. The pros of Lilova, and the reason I bought it, is that it is made with 95% organic cotton. So it's the only period panties I could find that has that much organic cotton in it. It does have a little bit of spandex to give it a little stretch. So at this point, there's still spandex, even if it's organic cotton just across the board. The middle is what they're calling a thermoplastic polyurethane. So polyurethane is kind of giving that sort of plastic layer to keep the blood in the panties so it's not getting on your legs, right? That part is also unavoidable. The middle, they call it, is microfiber. So the gusset, the part that's in contact with your vagina, is the inner. And then the middle is the center between the gusset and the outer. So it's kind of like a sandwich. So it's kind of similar to the diaper. If you haven't seen any of my diaper videos and you've got kids, check them out. I'll put them up here. Anyways, those are the materials that soak up the blood. So that part has microfiber. So the cons of Lilova are that, of course, there's polyurethane and also microfiber in there. So couldn't get 100% synthetic free on this. It's nearly impossible at this point unless somebody is making wool period underwear, which I haven't seen. But anyways, I do like this brand. It is pretty comfortable to wear. However, the absorbent part is a little bit thicker than some of the other brands, which I'll talk about right now. And brand number 2 that I tried in second place is Modibodi. So I love Modibodi. They work so well. The pros are that they work super well. They absorb so much. I never have any concern that I'm going to leak or that I'm going to have some kind of accident, because that's actually one of the biggest stressors of wearing period underwear. The cons, they have synthetics in the gusset. So the part that is, near your vagina. So I believe it is a wool sheet that comes in direct contact with the vagina, but then inside there's still some level of synthetics, which again, you cannot avoid, but try to get as least synthetics as possible. That would be my recommendation, just because of the plasticizers, even though theoretically they shouldn't be leaching through the inner gusset part that comes in contact with us. So hopefully that is not an issue. I still use Modibodi. I use them especially overnight. They work so well, but they're not my number 1 favorite, because I did find that the customer service was lacking, and so they could really improve on that. And if they do, then I will be sold. But my number 1 top pick of all period panties is Revol Cares. They are so comfortable, so soft, like super soft. And I never feel also like I'm leaking. They work really well. They've got the absorbency printed on the inside of the underwear, which is super helpful and handy, because if you've got an entire drawer full like I do, because I bought $500 worth of period underwear, then in order to make sense of it, you want to be able to know which underwear this is. Because if it's just Modibodi, it just all says Modibodi. I don't know what the absorbency is. I mean, I can tell just because I know that I have some bigger overnight shorts that I wear. Anyways, it's super convenient to have that printed on there. And they also have the least amount of synthetics. So that's why I've chosen Revol Cares. They're my favorite. No cons. I can't find any cons other than the fact that I bought too many underwear. And so now I've got extra. So even though Modibodi is not my favorite, they do work well, and I'm still using them because I've already bought them. Let me know down in the comments if you have ever tried period underwear, and if you haven't, are you considering it? Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious to know. All right, here are some tips that I can give you if you are brand new to period underwear. If you're nervous like I was, my biggest fear is leaking onto my pants when I'm in public. It just brings back, I guess, period trauma from when I was, early in high school, and that happened to me, and it was so embarrassing. And, walking around with a sweater tied around your waist is just, no. Anyways, this thankfully has never happened to me with period underwear. Number 1 tip I can recommend is when you're first trying them out and you've got a new brand that you've never experienced before, wear them around at home. If you work outside the home, then maybe try to be at home on the weekend and just test them out so you can find the capacity for your specific flow. I tend to have heavier flow on the earlier days of my cycle, like days 1 and 2, and then it tapers off like pretty quickly after that. So what I did was wear them around the house. And so that way, if I had to change them, then I wasn't like, oh my gosh, where's the bathroom, and freaking out. It was so much more relaxed that way. And then, you don't have to worry. And if you are out and about, tip number 2 is to bring extra pairs of underwear and a wet bag so that you can change them out. And I know what you might be thinking, because I had the same thoughts. Oh my gosh, I am not about to change my underwear in a public restroom. Totally get it. Don't blame you. I mean, who wants to take off their shoes and pants and everything like that just to change out the period underwear? I totally feel you on that. So if I was going out, I would get the Modibodi. They have this Velcro on type of underwear, period underwear, which is kind of like a diaper if you can think about it. It's just got like the Velcro that goes around the leg, and that way you don't have to take off your pants. So super cool. Other than that, I would probably end up wearing dresses and skirts more if I am. on my period and I'm out and about wearing my period underwear so that I could swap them out. But of course, having the wet bag is huge because, you know, where else are you going to put your used period underwear, right? And the last tip that I have, or how I care for them, is basically once I take them off and I'm at home, then I will give them a quick rinse and then hang them in the shower until it's time for me to wash them. And then once that time comes, then I just throw all of my period underwear in one load, and I don't wash them with any other clothes just because I don't want to cross-contaminate. And then I usually will just run it through one cycle. I wash them on cold, and then I'll check on them. If I feel like they need to be washed again, then I'll wash them twice. So really the main resource that you need to put into using period underwear is more water. There's going to be more water and more electricity required to wash them. You could also hand wash them if you really, really want to be more sustainable, but that might not be sustainable if you've got kids like me. So I use a washing machine, and then as soon as they're done, I will put them in tumble dry, super low. And then if they're still kind of moist, then I'll just hang dry them for the rest of the way, or I'll just hang dry them. It really just depends. I don't actually need to wash my period underwear mid-cycle. So that's the great thing and the benefit, the one benefit or two, there's several benefits of having spent so much on these period underwear, is that I don't expect to have to replace them anytime soon. So the cost effectiveness is there. And of course, the environmental impact, and of course, the impact on my health. I'm not concerned about period products exposing me to toxic chemicals. And so this is something that I will have mastered by the time it's my daughter's turn to have to wear period panties if they choose, and I will show them all the different ways. But of course, those are my tips. That's my period journey. Absolutely a diehard for period panties. And so I will go ahead and link my favorite brand in the description box below. And thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, turn on notifications so you get notified of my new videos. I will see you on the next video. Make sure to check out the rest of these videos on my channel so that you can detoxify your entire home, your beauty routine, and protect your family from toxic exposure. I'll see you on the next one.